Hello and welcome. Beyond the Veil Part 2. Where to start? Last time I covered some things about the sun, the moon, time frames, so forth on down that line. I explained the hours and everything else. I explained that for every hour the sun is not at noon. It is approximately 750 miles away per hour. I've explained on how an equinox would never be possible on a little bitty ball, because light bends across that little bitty ball depending on how and when sunrise is, according to where you are. I also explained the concept of the individual in the movie theater, i.e. the usher with the flashlight. In a totally dark theater, he can ruin the whole movie. He can stand up at the front, turn the flashlight on, and walk closer to you, and that flashlight gets brighter. If you don't understand that general concept, you have problems. You have very mental issues, because you can't understand the simple concepts. Last time I touched on the subject of Christ and Lucifer being the same thing, i.e. the sun and the sky. I mean, the Bible refers to them as the morning star. Both Christ and Lucifer hold that same title. If you want to recognize it as a quote-unquote title, then you also have to recognize Christ as a title and Lucifer as a title. If, however, you want to personify and say, well, no, that's not true, and then claim that angels don't have physical form, keep in mind, the Bible says, beware of the strangers that you entertain, because they may be angels. Meaning that, are you going to entertain someone that does not have a physical form? And if they present themselves as having a physical form, are you going to be able to tell if they are an angel or not? 90% of the world to this point, i.e. United States, have been born in hospitals. We've had this stuff put in our eyes to blind us. We've had this junk inserted into our veins because it's supposed to be healthy for us. Here's the problem. Before hospitals, our lifespans were something like 200 to 300 years minimum. I can remember talking to my grandma, and her grandfather was over 250 years old before they killed him. Yeah. There was a war. The Romans attacked and killed everyone over 100 years old. This is what Rome is responsible for. This is how Rome was able to push their new agenda on everyone. Because there were no others there to say, hey, that's bullshit. Because Rome killed the elders. Bottom line. And ever since then, We've had insane individuals, i.e. criminals, in power. And when they count the vote, they don't count the vote. They program the damn machines. They're the ones who made these machines. You're going to think that because they make something that it's going to be what? These individuals, these people in government, govern a way to think. Mental. Mind control. Governmental. Mind control. That's what it means. Just like you translate the words in Hebrew to English, you have to translate it from what it is to what it means. Govern, Govern, to control. Breakdown, very simple. Mental, mind. Without the elders here to guide us, we are sheep. This is what these people do. This is what they've done for the last few hundred years, is act this way, is present this stuff as, well, this is their reality, this is what's real, and so forth. No, it's not. There is a reason it's called Mother Earth. Let me present something to you that's I've never seen anywhere. The world itself was talked about as being one landmass. The waters themselves were talked about being separated from the land. They say that Pangea was the landmass. Alright? Science and the Bible agree on this. So you're not going to say, well, no, it's not true somehow. Because guess what? You're wrong. Step 2. Accordingly, Lucifer, one of the fallen angels, came down with 1/3 of the angels in all heaven. Meaning, well, let's look at it since it's Mother Earth, and things coming in from outside to Mother Earth, well, guess what? Simple translation, sperm. When it says that there was a great flood, guess what? When a woman's water breaks, it floods. I have a child. Yes, I've seen it. Yes, it happens. Well, we have this thing called the Mid-Atlantic Rift. If you look, it looks like a seam of a split uterus. There is no other way to say it. The earth gave birth to the sun, at which point God, or the Creator, whatever you want to call him, reached down and took it from the land and placed it in the heavens above. So, Lucifer, simply put, number one sperm that got in to the egg of Mother Earth, is the seed and that seed gave birth to Christ, or the Son. S-U-N, not S-O-N. There is a difference. Most will not be able to tell, and that's the problem. Most can't tell. Rome came up with all the religions, except for the stuff in India that I can trace. Basically, the three main religions all come from the same book, the Torah. At which point, the Torah never had any vowels. There were only consonants. There was no A, E, I, O, or U marked on their writings. Only B, C, D, and so on and so on and so on and so on, that were not vowels, were marked. There were no spaces or anything to denounce how many vowels were there. So GD could be good or God. Didn't tell you how many of what were where. Keep in mind that in the old language, A, E, I, O, U, and Y were interchangeable. There was no preset, well, this is what this rule says, because rules were made by man. Then you have individuals who claim that, oh no, God gave us numbers for some reason. How? Who was the individual that is still alive today that was alive way back then? Next, they want to go into this evolution thing and say, man is this many years old. We only have records of 500 at most, meaning that even radiocarbon dating of 1,000 years we don't have. Let that sink in. So these individuals who are running radiocarbon dating don't have records over 1,000 years old to verify their claims. You know what their claims come from? Oh, there's a plant here. And that plant takes, 2 months or a year for it to grow. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean this plant was always here. No. The contrary. You don't know. Anything that no one has ever witnessed or has any proof that if they don't have proof of, is not real. It's as simple as that. If they can't prove it, it's not real. And saying that, oh yes, you can pretend, and that's what it is. It's pretend. It's make 'em up. It's not real stuff. My chili pant. Yes. But that's the whole thing. Science is no older than 500 years at most. That's the most the records go back. We don't have records that go back thousands of years. We don't have records that go back millions of years. All we have is records that go back maybe 500 years at most. So these scientists that are looking at these objects under a microscope are taking a guess at best. Well, we know carbon does this within a year, so they hypothesize. They can't validate. There is no way for them to validate their claims of billions upon billions upon billions of years old, because they have no records to prove their claims. The best we have is maybe 500 years of history. I'm going to cut it there. Bye.